Welcome back to Dear Oakland. Today we have with us Jen and Alan from Baba's House. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Oh, hello, I'm Jen.
I'm Alan, and we are from Baba's House.
Tell us a little bit about your business, why you started it.
Okay. Well, the original reason we really started it was because Jen's dad passed in 2020, and it really kind of infused us with this crazy kind of energy. Mm-hmm. You know, life is so precious, and like seeing it being fleeting in these moments really often pushes you to do something, right? Get you off your ass and realize like how important each moment is. So that's why, you know, like Jen often says something like, I was a woman possessed, right? She says these words a lot, but it was really true, like in the best way possible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to really do something with my family in the very beginning, more so my brother, get him involved, but he's kind of more or less involved in the business, but not. But we experimented with kind of food in the beginning and realized it's not really quite our lane. We're not chefs. We like to eat, but it's just a little different. And when this opportunity came with this venue, kind of just fell in love with the upstairs space, and that's kind of the rest was history. Like he said, I was just a woman, just possessed and obsessed with like this project and wanting to make it happen.
Awesome. So how do you define the business? Is it a restaurant, a bar, a speakeasy, all of the above? And how would you describe it to folks who've never been?
It's funny when people ask that now, because before we've been so definitive of like, oh, we're a creative, like we're an immersive community event space. Mm-hmm. That's only when we had the second floor. Now that we have first and second floor, we're kind of semi having an identity crisis. We're working through that right now of figuring out like, who are we really? We're not just an event space. We're not just a restaurant, if that. So this winter, we're really, really in deep planning mode and kind of figuring out who we are again. But yeah.
I think on different levels, we're different things to different people. And if you're talking about, let's talk about from the street level, right? We are literally there to serve you. We're the community. We're there with our community. We're there putting on events, platforming our emerging artists, just trying to put you all on whenever you come through, and try to offer you as much as we can and our own kind of hospitality culture. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at it from the corporate level, we're a social impact enterprise, right? The key words here, right? Social, right? And we're really trying to make a difference, uphold and represent our Asian American culture here in the Bay. Especially on that block, it's very mixed culture, love, progressive, queer positive, at the very least, right? These things are forefront in our community, so it's like welcome in our space, and we kind of try to uphold those tenets.
I'm curious to know where the name came from.
Oh, yeah. So Baba in Chinese can be dad, and in a lot of different cultures can be dad. I think the funniest thing is that we don't even call my dad that when he was alive, but one of our like pretty much like sister from another mister, like we joked around and kind of like, it might not be, culturally might not sound great. Okay, so like, immigrants, immigrant families, like parents, especially Chinese parents tend to might hit their child. So we're just like, sometimes. You might get whooped if you do something wrong. And so we were joking around of like, oh, Baba, mhoda, like, oh, dad, don't hit me. And it kind of just stuck, but we never called him that. And we weren't saying it to him, but it just kind of was like an inside thing. And then when this came about, it just kind of felt right to like Baba's house. So that's kind of how it came out.
That's cute. I'm Indian, and so we also call like
Yeah.
Baba,
That's-
and then we also get whooped.
What the, right? Yeah.
Like me, please. I'm Black, and we also get whooped, and I approve this message.
Yeah.
We
That's
all
why
get whooped. And that's why we're all here now.
we kind of figured y'all would understand.
That's funny. So of all places in the Bay, what specifically led you to Oakland, and how has it been trying to cultivate community here for a personal and business perspective?
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna give it to you because a lot of our community is built off the back of a lot of work that Jen's done within that community. And the reason why people had trust in us to begin with is because of the person that she is and the work that she's done. And it's kind of you can't really refute that, right? It's built on a lot of good work and trust and faith and good times and stuff like that.
I'm just gonna have that question repeat one more time just to make sure that I'm answering the right question.
What led you to Oakland, and how has it been trying to cultivate community here for a personal and business perspective?
Got it. Yeah, I've always loved Oakland. I grew up in Daly City. I always joked that like my very first boyfriend lived in East Oakland, and I kept dating East Bay guys, and I joked about like I think I just want to live here. I think that's deep to the core of it, and I don't know. There's something very special, you know, going out like in my 20s, 30s, going out in SF and Oakland. I just gravitate towards Oakland more. I connected with the city more. I connected with the people more. And I felt a bigger sense of community in the strangest way. So when we decide to open something, or even when we decide to live together, I said, I'm only willing to move to Oakland, and he went along with it, and he's here now. So that's kind of that part of it. Cultivating, you know, I've worked with a lot of different communities in Oakland, and just, I don't know, if I felt a place of belonging again. And so it's kind of like a lot of times everything kind of goes in full circle for me of like, oh, I felt that so much love and compassion from folks when I'm building my business that I want to pay that forward as well. So it just creates this ecosystem and this beautiful synergy between the communities around, and we're just like a very strong force. Like we know who we are. We're very grounded because we've already worked with each other and know what we can bring to the table. So yeah, in that sense, it's like there's a very, very strong core community that I've built here in probably over the past decade. Yeah.
What do you all think outsiders get wrong about Oakland? And how would you describe the city to someone who's never been?
I think that the most obvious answer is all the stuff that you see in like the news or what people throw around as, oh, Oakland's just really not safe. Oakland is like a really like harsh kind of reality to live in is kind of the picture that's painted a lot of the times. But having lived here, even if only for like 5 or 6 years, I've lived so much of the love of Oakland. You know what I mean? When people talk about the Bay, I think of Oakland.
Yeah.
When people talk about that camaraderie, that love, like the inclusion, the kind of like keeping each other up, I think of Oakland and the love that is shared amongst us here. It's so palpable compared to other places where maybe it's just not in the culture to be that warm towards each other on like on kind of like a neighborhood level, you know? Like you gotta be kind of like smart about how you move in Oakland, because it's like, for example, like in New York, you gotta be smart in how you move as well, otherwise the city's gonna eat you up.
Right.
And it's kind of like the same in Oakland. If you're not smart about certain things, then obviously something could happen.
Sure.
Right? But that's the same anywhere. Right? It's just got its own characteristics.
You want to give your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much along the same lines of like, you know, there's always a misconnotation. My mom doesn't like coming here to visit. Like, it's like, oh, I heard someone got shot on the freeway. I'm like, and then, you know, in the back of my head is like, well, I mean, those are really targeted, Mom. Like, I'm like, how do I, you know, like, in Oakland's defense, I don't think anyone's targeting me on the freeway to shoot me specifically. So I think you're okay, Mom. Your daughter's okay. But like, how do you really say that? So it's just like, yeah, I mean, in every city, there's always some sort of crime. And quite honestly, when I take BART to San Francisco these days, I feel more unsafe and feel more uneasy in downtown because I'm just not, it's more unpredictable. Versus here, I know what why things are happening, and again, you just gotta do your due diligence. Don't leave anything out in the open in car. Don't be so flashy, so, and be nice to everyone. Quite honestly, just be nice. Like, some people are just like mentally ill and can be triggered, and if you're nice to them, at the very least, you might not trigger them.
That's real.
And then, what would you change about Oakland?
Ooh. What would we change about Oakland? This one's a hard one. You have anything for now?
He's like, yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about.
Ready to fire off.
We
No.
kind of slightly discussed it, and then now I'm like going blank. I'm like, what did we say?
I think the things that I would change about Oakland are, it's kind of weird because they're the same things I love about Oakland. It goes hand in hand. So I guess in a nutshell, I wouldn't really change anything because, for example, I'll give you an example, like running a business in Oakland, like a mom and pop brick and mortar out here in downtown is not easy. There's a lot of bureaucracy that goes on, within the city. There's a lot of permitting that seems like it's just there just to collect money, stuff like that. Like, it's not easy for business. For the same reason why it's difficult, I think it's the same reason why it's also loose. Right? It's like almost reminds me of kind of like the 90s where you could get away with more stuff just because it's not clamped down as hard. But for that same reason, sometimes it's hard to get through the bureaucracy. So if you're, like I said before with the other thing, right? If you're smart, if you're street smart, you can get stuff done. And you can fly above and below radar. But once you start sticking out and you're getting all tangled up into what's supposed to be done, sometimes it can be a big pain.
Yeah.
I mean, on the business side of things.
No, I mean, it's along the same lines. It's like a lot of politicking and realizing, like, oh, who really does have a power of say or effect towards decisions? And a lot of times it just doesn't make sense. So, or just like seeking answers and not having the answers. So it is an uphill battle being a business owner in Oakland. And yeah, it would be nice to have more resources and just kind of a bit more guidance, I think, on that front. But yeah.
We've heard similar things from other business owners. So what keeps you excited about what you do, and what challenges do you face as a business owner outside of what you shared just now?
The thing that keeps us doing what we're doing is very easy. It's like the community magic, bringing everybody together and just kind of like repping that Bay love, like we were talking about before too. Like I said, we're social. We're here for the social impact. Yeah. Basically, we're here to grow our community, to uphold all of our traditions, and create a legacy for our family and our community. So that in itself is passion, and that's just gonna keep us going anyways. If we lose that passion, you will feel it, and we'll probably do something else. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm like, I just blanked out too. I'm like, repeat the question one more time, and then I'm just gonna answer. Right?
Just like what challenges have you faced as a business owner?
I mean, it's really making math.
What keeps you excited?
Yeah, what keeps me excited? Yeah, definitely the community. Even on like a low energy night, when I see a familiar face, my energy level spikes back up. And just being able to explore our own creativity in generating events that we love to do. At the end of it, all the events that we do, we would attend ourselves. the difficulties, yes, same thing of like just challenges of like, why is it so hard to get this one thing done, or why is there so many changes, and like why our city departments doesn't seem like they communicate with each other very properly, or like we keep getting diverted to things. So I think the uphill battle is just like just not having enough information or resources to do it properly. And then also just like expenses, just insane expenses, and just figuring out how maths as a business owner. And you know, it's beautiful because we know a lot of, you know, we have a lot of friends that are business owners as well, so we have a support system, but also we're all struggling. So we're just like, okay, so who is actually succeeding, and how, if they are, how are they doing it? Is the next question. Because even when I see some businesses that I thought were successful, and when I talk to them, it's not doing great. It's like, if you're not doing great, who is? Is like really now kind of my question. Yeah.
You guys opened in 2020? Or
2021.
so have you seen like just different changes from like year one to current year, or?
Definitely changes, but it's. I think in terms of business ebbs and flow, I don't think it's anything unusual. What's more unpredictable is after quarantine, everyone's lifestyle changed. The behavior of going out changed, like how when people decide to go out changed. So it's kind of like now everything that you once knew about that world is completely different.
Yeah.
So it's really starting from scratch all over again. Yeah.
Even industry has been rapidly changing. Our economy, the presidential landscape, the city, even the city's bureaucratic landscape, everything has changed so much. And when she said starting from scratch, it's like literally starting from scratch, based off of like what we know about the business landscape here, which was like not that much to begin with anyways, but but like as we go through it, like we're like in the middle of a technological revolution.
Yeah.
Right?
AI robots.
Yeah, not even just robot, Bitcoin, all of that stuff, right? All like currency technology and whatnot, blockchain, blah blah blah. So it's been tough. If I can say one thing though that did pop into my head, one thing I learned about Oakland is that it's a city that demands respect on different levels. Right? The city itself and the history of the city deserves respect. But also the people who've been around and the people who like legit are from Oakland, also they demand and deserve respect for what Oakland has been through and what it still kind of symbolizes, which to me is kind of like a love for the culture, a love for you know, like kind of like even family values in my opinion, and just being able to live that on the streets. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so how can Oakland do a better job of supporting small businesses like yours from a city standpoint? And what ways have the people of Oakland and the Greater Bay Area shown up to support you?
Yeah.
City bit.
It's funny, we keep talking about bureaucracy. I've said the word many times in this interview. And actually, like, there are certain, like, for example, like I mentioned that there are certain things in place where it seems like they just want you to pay money.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I mean, we're working with some permitting stuff at our shop. And I've seen lenient, I don't want to just poo-poo on city council. I've seen lenience, and I've seen like them wanting to work with us on that side of things as well. Building and planning, like you make friends, like having to go in and talk to them about it. But I think that the way that they can help us a little bit more is by like Jen said, offering a bit more guidance and maybe offering a little bit more financial. What's it called? Not just education, but literacy. Financial and business literacy are so important to have our economy here thrive, and so few people know about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's literally like a gate kept knowledge that is very simple. And if people were just to say like, oh, hey, this is the kind of funding you may need when you start, or this is where you might want to find funding at least. And I know we can do our own homework and stuff, but it's not easy. Yeah. Support would be great in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think resources are plentiful outside if you do the work, but then it's like, it gets so nitty gritty of like, oh, I need this specific, like, even if you get funding, certain funding is like, oh, this funding you only can use for this specific thing. And it can be in this time frame. So there's like a lot of parameters, and then just like, yeah, it's you have to like figure out a lot of different ways of like trying to make ends meet, of like whether it's funding or grants or like yeah, they don't really have a how-to book, or it's like if you're going back to permitting, like, oh, you need to file for this permit or whatever. And then you look at that permit and then it has a whole thing of things that you need to do, and you're like, I have no idea where to start. So it's kind of like, if only they gave you a whole checklist of like, all right, cool, this is A, B, C, and D. Kind of like when we applied for our liquor license, there was a checklist of like, these are all the forms you need to do. These are the ones that you need to turn into so-and-so. It was very direct. I can follow instructions, but when instructions lead you to another thing, you're like, then what do I do? You know, so, but in terms of the community being supportive, I mean, our community has shown up for us really hard. Like, we've had multiple fundraisers for air conditioner. We've had people, you know, like Agnes, like make wontons for the fundraiser, and like probably generated like over $1,000 off that. We have people like volunteering their time, helping us with the space, like being mahjong coaches. Jordan being our main designer, really volunteering his time and doing a lot of our design stuff. So we definitely have a lot of our community members show up for us. And yeah, it's just beautiful. Again, it's like this like synergy, like this like, oh, we're paying it forward, and it's really, really coming back as well too.
Yeah. Before we get into our rapid fire round, which is like a little bit of fun, do you guys have any final thoughts you want to share? Because the idea is just like, you know, we're really trying to shed a positive light on Oakland. And as you shared earlier, my mom is the same way. It's like my family, they don't want to visit because, you know, they think it's dangerous. And I'm like, I walk, you know, downtown Oakland all the time. Obviously not like, you know, maybe after 10 p.m., but I love Oakland. So just from that perspective, any final thoughts before the rapid fire?
I just want to double down and say, like, I haven't felt as much like actual real neighborhood community love in another place as much as Oakland. Oakland is like, to me, I know this is on your list, but like Oakland to me is like warmth, community, culture, like freshness, you know? We got food. We have culture, we have color. That's what more could you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's along the same lines. There's something. Sometimes I just can't put it into words. There's just love for the city. There's just love for the town, and like, even again for other peers that like maybe their businesses have been broken into, and luckily we haven't had that mishap, but like even then they're like standing strong and be like, I'm not leaving Oakland, I'm still here. So there's a reason for that, and there is something very special here for sure.
So with that, I know you guys have Baba's house, but you have to tell us your favorite staple. So restaurant, coffee shop, bar.
Oh man, On's Burgers.
Good to eat.
Good to eat dumplings. We used to really love Malaya. It's an Ethiopian coffee shop in Emeryville.
Oh, no, it's not called. Is it called Malaya?
Yeah.
I like trying to think.
It's like on the corner of Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Motivate.
Okay.
Motivate.
Love Motivate.
They're dope.
Yeah.
Obviously Nectar Social Club. Yup. The homies.
Art House. Rhythm Section.
Rhythm
Seventh
Sections.
West, all the homies.
In Fruitvale.
Restaurants. I mean, we haven't been going out to eat enough. But
Are you all going to the line dance pop-up?
I saw it, but I don't know if we can make it.
Oh, it's till Monday. It's till Monday.
Oh, it's till Monday.
It was Thanksgiving, so Thursday was the first day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday they serve, and they stop serving after Monday.
Oh, let's try to check it out. I'm glad they're
Yeah.
still doing pop-ups. Yeah.
I want to shout out Viridian just because we love those guys.
Love Meridian.
And Lounge Chinatown is dope. They've always shown us a lot of hospitality. Whenever Uncle comes around, I don't leave sober. There's so many places.
Hatch.
The Hatch, come on. Yeah, everyone on the block, right?
Tried and true. We love our block.
Well, I'm sure we're missing a billion
20
places.
million things.
But yeah.
Yeah.
We love the list. Last question. You kind of got at it, but how would you describe Oakland in just 3 words? And we'll allow both of you to let us know.
I already kind of did it, so you go and then I'll think of 3 more.
Yeah.
Vibrant, alive, and resilient.
Ooh, that's good.
Love hearing all the common answers like others have said.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like raw.
Yeah.
I was gonna say raw and real. It's almost the same thing, but I go back to what I said before as well because I really mean it.
Yeah.
Like warm, community, neighborhood love,
Yes.
right? On top of all the other stuff I've said.
We love that. We appreciate both of you for your time. We really appreciate all of your thoughtful answers. And check out Baba's house. We'd love to know where people can find you, where people can check out your business, and how they can support you.
We are mostly on IG. Check out thisisbabas.house. Anything with This Is Baba's House, you can just Google that and you'll find us. We got a website. We do online stuff.
Open Wednesday to Saturday, starting at 6 till 10-ish. Sometimes later. Sometimes way later than expected.
Yep.
Usually karaoke.
Thursday.
Can't help it. Can't help it.
The dopest actual mahjong club,
Yeah.
right? Let's go.
Check us out. Yes.
All right, to wrap, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.